was what our theme was about. One of the things that really stuck out to me is, being genuine. It's not the easiest, it's not the first thing that comes to mind or comes into action in our everyday life. Our first thing is to cover up or just be passive and not be honest or genuine with other people, or even being genuine and open with God. And I think that's one of the things that I really struggled with, was I wasn't being genuine with God. I just kind of put it off and would say, like, oh, I'm doing okay, instead of taking everything to Him and just asking Him, forgive me or help me in my everyday life. So being genuine with God, He knows everything anyway, so you might not want to hide it from Him because He already knows. So being genuine and open with God and yourself, and tell yourself, don't deceive yourself, which was one of the other things Mike talked about. Don't deceive yourself. Don't tell yourself, make yourself think that what you're doing is right when it's not. And also sometimes people mistake being genuine for being honest, not honest in a good way, but abruptly honest and a little bit abrasive. And sometimes that can be me. Sometimes I can be a little too honest with people, which is a problem sometimes. But but definitely learning to be genuine in a godly way and not be genuine in how I think it should be. And I want to say thank you to the Roses for letting us come up there. We really do appreciate it. We have a great time. And for all of the people who came up as chaperones, my aunt and uncle, and the Stars, and everybody who chipped in, and Mike for speaking to us, and all of you guys for putting up with us crazy kids for the weekend, and Pastor Dan for all that he does for us. We really do appreciate it. We know you guys care about us really much.
Hi, I'm Cassidy, and I guess I'm going to be doing some repeating in this first paragraph. I want to start by saying thank you to Pastor Dan, to Mr. Mike Hoffman, Mr. and Mrs. Rhodes, and Mr. and Mrs. Starr, and my aunt and uncle for taking time out of their busy schedules so that we would be able to go to winter camp. I have seen how much work it takes, from driving the bus, shoveling, cleaning, cooking, preaching, making sure we have firewood and that the fire doesn't go out. And it takes a lot of time and work to prepare for something like this. So I would like to say thank you guys for all you did, because it would not be possible without all your hard work. Even though this wasn't my first year at winter camp, there were some firsts for me. I tried snowboarding, which I loved. I fell before I really got started. I was able to ride on a snowmobile, which was scary and fun all at the same time, even though I fell off. Honestly, I did more falling than anything that weekend. This year was probably one of my favorites just because I got to spend time with people I don't usually hang out with. It amazed me that I see these people on a regular basis, but yet I don't really know a lot about them. So it was really fun getting to know everybody better. Going up to winter camp this year, I wasn't really expecting anything spiritually to come out, for me to get anything spiritually out of it. I knew that there were going to be great messages and that they would be really good, but I didn't think that I needed to really work on anything, that I was doing good and that I didn't need to change or work on anything at all. But I couldn't have been more wrong. I found so many things that I need to work on. I learned this year that so many times as Christians, we focus on our outward appearance and we dress up the outside and make it look all nice, while inside can be dark and empty. I've grown up in church. I know how I'm supposed to act, dress, and what to say, but I get in the routine of just fixing up the outside while the inside isn't looking too good. 1 Samuel 16:7 says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. That instead of making my appearance look and seem nice, I need to focus on what's on the inside." The second thing I took away from this weekend was bringing up others and not pointing out the flaws, but instead turning and looking at myself. In Matthew 7:3-5, it says, "Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye when there is a log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's. I took two things from this passage. I can either be a speck Christian and always talk about how much better the world would be if everybody would just fix themselves, or instead of pointing out the flaws in other people's lives, be a log Christian who is always examining their own hearts for issues, sins, and problems in an effort to bring glory to God.
I hope you're enjoying these as much as I